That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption that I'm guilty.
Oh, is that so? And if I may ask, what did you hear while you were inside your box?
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I...
And you didn't hear anything else at all?
No, nothing.
I see. But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a...
Huh?
Hey!
Yeah, I'm sure he could have heard a noise that loud from inside the box.
I was right by the box, and I definitely...
Look at those scales! Well then, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to use the words of the magician himself. You never know what can happen in the blink of an eye. Indeed, it seems his alibi can also collapse in the blink of an eye. Of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot go unfounded, and my foundations are rock solid. Tell me, aren't you and Lynette actually from the House of the Hearth?
The House of the Hearth?
No wonder they did something like this.
So the serial disappearances were the Fatsui's doing. Now it all makes sense.
I've got a feeling that what happened on stage probably wasn't just an accident.
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing to do with what happened.
Indeed. Then perhaps you could tell us everything that happened during that 1 minute. Your first priority is to prove yourself innocent after all. I'm sure there is little that needs to be kept secret now. Unless your script already has holes in it. The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the infighting and discord, Oh, good thing I made all those preparations.
Hey, Linny!
Order! Order! Mr. Linney, allow me to... First, when the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were neither in the box nor the tunnel. Second, you and Ms. Lynette are both members of the House of the Hearth. Are these claims true? Please answer my question.
I'm sorry. Yes, they're...
I knew it!
Well, that's it. We might as well move on to the sentencing already.
What should we do now?
Granted. In that case, what is your request?
Is that really necessary? They're already as good as guilty.
The defendant deceived their own attorneys. What is there left to discuss?
Order! Order, I say! Your request is reasonable, and we shall adjourn.
So you would stick to Mr. Linney's defense even after knowing what you do now? You certainly have more professionalism than I thought. In that case, my dear audience, let's allow the joy of victory to steep for a little while longer.
Well, this is awkward. I didn't think the Hydro Archon would take... I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We based our entire reasoning on the... Not to set the wrong tone or anything.
I'm very sorry. I know you've clashed with the Fatui several times before. I wouldn't be surprised if just hearing the word is enough. But our organization is very, very large, and the Harbin...
Right now, we want to save people.
That's right. I'm sure we're on the same page. I knew if it weren't for our respective identities, that's why I didn't wish to flat out lie to you, but chose to hide some. The truth is very important, but being completely transparent about everything. Right. So, you be the judge. Heck, if I were you, I fear that I'd even struggle to trust me at the. You met a Fatus who works as a magician, a trickster by trade. All by coincidence, too. But still,
Sorry.
Well, you both say that, but... Let's hear your answer first, and no lies now!
Of course. We've been trying to find out during our investigation. From that moment on.
Is that why you needed a whole minute?
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 70. So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed.
That air vent was created during the construction of the tunnel specifically to execute this step.
Well, nothing. Which should have been impossible, of course. That voice seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me. I chose to err on. On the way back, I saw. After that.
Well, that explains why you didn't hear the thud.
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course.
That's the only way we can say.
So, there you have it. The whole truth. It was never my wish, but like I said earlier, you can be the judge.
Well, Traveler, you decide. Paimon will follow your lead however you choose.
Okay.
Thanks for giving us a chance.
The current problem is, if we want to refute the Hydro Archon... Huh?
Both parties have returned to their positions. Let us continue the trial. When last we left off, Mr. Linney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may
At this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linney's perspective. Countdown began, he entered the tunnel. When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey, which he did not realize that the sound could be heard. Finally, he used the vase to knock her out, before making her change clothes to prevent others from recognizing her. At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange noise. So Linney proceeded to afterward, Linney passed the unconscious Halsey to... And there you have it. That's the truth behind what happened.
Does the defendant's side have any objections to Lady Farina?
The key to refuting Lady Farina is the seems this won't produce... See... According to Linny, he left via the vent out. Seem... Linny went to the room. Linny did not take part in the under...
Attention! Ace Detective Paimon! When the countdown started, Linny, but he immediately used... Once he reached the crime scene! Finally, he... Paimon did it!
In other words, you believe...
That's right!
My reasoning?
If that's the case, then assuming that what you say is true, Linny only needed to kidnap the young girl to cause a new disappearance case.
Oh, they have a point.
That's right, you tell him! Oh, well, your denial is very strident. I'll give... Of course You're saying that he wasn't?
That's right! Linny, this means the same clue.
To think you'd use such luck. Well then, if it wasn't Linny who committed the crimes, then who was it?
Could there have been a third? The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. Halsey is the missing person and an ordinary audience member. The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant.
Huh? That can't be right.
Oh,
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowell did, and how he went from would-be perpetrator to victim. Linny was not in the tunnel at that... The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. Linny was not in the tunnel. The sound we heard may have come from... No one entered or left. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. It would have been tough for both people to... The sound we heard may have come from a... Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. The deceased's name is Cowell. It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. No one entered or left the... The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey. It would have been tough for both... No one entered or left the... The sound we heard may... It would have been tough for both people to fit in... Halsey's clothing...
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you still having
Look, since we're at a dead end, just like the trick is at
If only we knew.
Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel... And it's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make a real...
Excuse...
If the defense is unable to make further effective arguments, we will move on to the next stage of the trial.
Lenny was not in the tunnel at that moment. The sound we heard may have come... The deceased's name is... It would have been tough for both... No one entered or left... The vase was not broken by chance.
Paimon gets it! Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanishing gradually, and if there's a similar...
Oh, just a moment, please. I do hope you know how preposterous... How could a person ever be transformed into water? This is real... Must we really? Magic tricks are ultimately just illusions and misdirection.
Even so, the truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps some new line. Since Cal was the deceased, we haven't placed much attention. But given that we aren't making much progress with the case, it wouldn't hurt to...
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when at the end of their rope. The way I see it, your suggestion that we broaden the scope of...
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part of an attorney. Since the trial does indeed appear to be at... Guards, please step into...
We are still examining the items. We discovered several test tubes of fluid within Cowell's bag. The notebook in his backpack claims that these fluids are...
The primordial...
The note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged to an organization that sells illegal drugs. The notebook has many entries concerning safe usage of these. One of these tubes was labeled Opera Epiclese, along with yesterday's. The notes also... As such, we believe that the...
You've got to be kidding! People just...
Could something so ridiculous actually be true?
Wait a moment. This reminds me of a certain prophecy.
Huh. If people can become water, does that... Just a minute. Could that mean...
Demoiselle, wait! What about your part?
Let's go.
Order! Order! It is undeniable that further examination... Still, let us assume that these... Guards, Mr. Linney, it appears your hypothesis is supported by the evidence.
Of course, if we uphold...
Right! Like the metal hook! Let's think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that water...
The deceased's name is Cal... I remember there was something else. Lynette was in the magic box on stage the entire time. The water from the primordial sea should already have been prepped. Now it seems like the hook... The water from the primordial... I remember there was something else...
It's Ace Detective Paimon's time to shine again! In the original plan, Cowell, when the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, the metal hook would retract when the balloon attached to the box popped. Afterward, Cowell would but he encountered...
Huh. That does make sense.
That actually links together a lot of the more confusing pieces of evidence.
Oh dear, what do I do? Even I think they sound...
Now, it seems like the only point of contention... His notes mentioned he had an accomplice...
On that note, the guards have just I shall now invite him on stage to...
Thank you, Your Honor. We were just inspecting the... and we found an identical...
What?
That can't be.
Does this not click, my dear citizens? Linny did not need to take part in the dissolution of the young woman at all, having made modifications to the props beforehand. But upon his return, ultimately, he knocked Cowell out, and the tool... Now, as much as I regret... Am I right?
We've used up all the evidence we collected. Is this the end?
Oh no! Seems using the water as new evidence was too good a move.
I think we've all... I believe this is indeed... Now then, my good, no...
Excuse me, everyone!
Miss, I must ask you...
Oh, come on. Don't be hasty. I have a good reason for I'll show you an amazing trick. One that can bring a young woman who has disappeared back... What in the...
No offense, miss, but miracles like that?
Come on now, don't be silly. Magic is all about myth. But once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them? And wouldn't such a trick be... Come on, Lenny and Lynette. Give it another go. But, as the magic makers and stars of the show...
I understand.
And voila!
Sorry for the interruption.
Wait, isn't that Halsey? So, the whole thing about people...
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I was hiding, I was just feeling happy that no one...
That'll teach you to underestimate...
Where should I begin? I'm sorry.
What?
Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian. And I heard that Linny's show was gonna be a real... That's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there. But I was noticed at the harbor a few days ago.
Hey! No wonder you look familiar. Liddy even mentioned that you were...
Well, and I thought that would have been the end. He even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison. So I played... I wasn't going to take that lying down. So I knocked him out and stuffed him into the box. There was nowhere to run from there, though. I slipped out after the first...
Can a person even hide in there?
But I swear, I didn't know. Had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic box. I may be a thief, but I'm no killer.
Well, that makes everything pretty clear now.
This time, we need to tell the entire... The strange sound wasn't from a fight. It was Lily-Ann's attempt to break out when she was frightened. The flower vase... Lily-Ann was afraid...
And it's Ace Detective Paimon time! Having been selected, her panic only intensified after she entered the tunnel and had water poured on her head. Hearing the commotion, Cowell leapt into the tunnel. Oh, he did not know that Lily-Ann was not from Fontaine. Mistakenly believing that the water from the primordial... The two broke the flower vase during the struggle, but Lily-Ann came out on... with no way of escaping. She would have to go through guard inspection.
She had already become desperately hungry by the time we were chatting over macarons. So, she swiped 2 of them right under our noses.
At this point, all the events...
Ah, so...
Bravo!
Now then, Lady Farina.
I...
Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also...
What are you... No, I have no...
Wow, look at that.
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice of the actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, with some modifications to cover up any evidence, he also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank. Using the fireworks at the end of he poured the water from... Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when bringing the young woman to said box. When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel. If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. Realizing that there was trouble, Cowell entered the tunnel and met Liliane. Thinking that the waters had not yet taken effect, he decided to proceed. However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious, and Liliane, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and hid until the performance ended, before hiding in other parts. As for Linny, from this while there is much in Linny and Liliane's conduct that should still... This case, at least, can be handed over to the As such, Linny and Lynette are officially declared not guilty.
Great work,
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Next, I think we deserve an explanation, Guard. How did you find the water from...
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake.
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in... I'm sure you know what you must do.
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself a one-way ticket to Coupon Town.
We were supposed to place blame for this.
And now that your plan has fallen through, therefore you would be wise to tell everything you know and seek the protection of the guards.
Yes, our boss. It can also be... We've been in the...
And now he can no longer talk.
Such ruthlessness.
An outrageous. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
So, we're just going back now? That's...
Traveler, Paimon! Please wait.
Winnie...
I know you may not want to speak to me right now. Maybe you do, but still. Let me thank you again for defending me to the... I guess. But regardless, I'd like the opportunity to set things straight. I didn't approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. I've spoken to you as myself, just plain Linny this entire time. As for why I'm a Fatus, it's because the goals of the House of the Hearth align with those of an orphan like me. That's all. That was how Father, who you might know as the Knave, approached recruiting us.
The Knave? The one who controls the...
That's right. And since we're here, I was wondering... Back when our parents... To survive, I took to surreptitiously observing an older street performer who did magic. I took my sister through several streets until we found a crowded corner. To my surprise, before long...
So you went from...
That was how we felt at first, too. As if fate was on our... But I gradually discovered that while we were called foster children, he was really after my talent. He would constantly take me to all sorts of banquets to garner attention, which he would then use to expand...
That doesn't seem too bad either.
After one particular performance at a banquet, I discovered that Lynette was not. I waited a long time after we returned home, but she did not come back. I went to. The answer he gave me was.
Oh no. But wouldn't Fontaine's law?
As far as outsiders are concerned, I managed to ferret out the location of the mansion of that so. All I saw was the moonlit ground covered in blood.
So, she'd already taken care of that.
That's right. She had rescued my sister before she could. Father, the House of the Hearth welcomes you. I was hesitant to trust her, but she was also quick to destroy the noble who had taken us in at first.
Oh, so that's how the two of you joined the...
She has her own plan. She has gained permission from the Tsaritsa to first use the Gnosis's power once she obtains it.
So, she believes in that prophecy too?
That's right. The whole House of the Hearth is currently working. Today's case has also proven that people from Fontaine can indeed... Everyone at Hotel to us orphans...
So, from small...
It's all right. I just hope you can understand if you should need anything at all in the future.
Bye, Linny!
Hey there. What was with the disappearing act you pulled right as the trial ended?
Were you looking for...
Well, this whole thing isn't exactly over, is it? I do... Huh? What's wrong, my dear partner?
Besides! And...
Ah, I see. Sorry.
Don't say that now.
Ah, and we were having so much fun investigating with you, too. It was like having new waters flowing into a stagnant mire, causing new hope to spring forth, and the reflection in the murk to become clearer. Sorry about... Wait, shall we have a fair...
Huh?
Well, I'd just like to have a proper ending to every... Anyway, it would just be a meal, so...
You don't have to twist Paimon's arm if I...
Oh, wonderful.
All right, then.
Thank you for coming.
Let the magic begin!
Pleased to make your acquaintance. I am Linny's magic assistant, and if you have work-related... Let the magic begin!
Into the wind.
Bow your head.
The wind knows me.
Settle down.
Right here. Right now. Emerge.
I'm going in! Into the wind. As one with wind and cloud.
Be sanctified.
One with nature.
And voila!
Into the wind.
Step right up. Let's get this show on the road.
Out of the way! Teamwork is dreamwork! Fallen leaves, adorn my night!
Let the mighty be humbled.
Now disappear. Stay calm, stay calm.
Everybody stand back! Get out of here! Take cover! One with nature. Teamwork is dreamwork!
Here comes the finale. And voila!
It's my lucky day.
Right here. Emerge. Right here. I'm always watching.
Only now. Get a little chilly.
Here comes the catch.
Step right
fighter. A round of applause.
Emerge, right here.
Proper send-off from the Spina with love.
Amor, please. Stay cool and face your gift.
Let my name echo in song! Ugh! Strike a pose! How dare you!